if the engine oil warning light comes on in your vehicle, but when you check the oil level, it's full and everything looks fine. In this video, I want to go over the possible causes and how you can go about fixing the issue. This applies whether you're seeing a red oil pressure warning light, a yellow or orange oil alert, or even a message on the dashboard. In some cases, you might also notice the oil pressure gauge drop down to 0. Regardless of the exact warning you're seeing, the underlying causes and the steps to diagnose the problem are generally the same. Possible causes when oil warning light comes on. One of the most common reasons is a faulty oil pressure sensor or oil sending unit. Depending on the year and make of your vehicle, you may have either of these, and they're usually mounted somewhere on the engine. If the sensor fails, it can send incorrect readings to the computer, triggering the oil warning light. Don't forget to also check the wiring connected to the sensor or sending unit. Make sure the connections are secure and there are no shorts, opens, or damaged wires. Faulty wiring can cause the same warning light and symptoms as a bad sensor. So, the first step is to locate the oil sending unit or pressure sensor on your engine and thoroughly inspect both the sensor and its wiring. This is a very common cause of false oil warnings. Another possible cause is low oil pressure, which can happen for several reasons. For example, if the oil is extremely dirty and hasn't been changed in a long time, it can clog the oil filter and restrict oil flow, leading to low pressure. Using the wrong oil viscosity can also cause problems. If your engine is supposed to use 5-body 20 but was filled with 5-body 30, the thicker oil might not flow properly, especially in colder conditions, potentially triggering the warning light. It's also possible that the issue lies with the warning light or dashboard gauges themselves. Usually, when there's a problem with the gauges or lights, it's not just a single warning or gauge acting up. Multiple lights or gauges may be affected. So if you're noticing several issues with your dashboard lights or gauges, it could simply be a faulty gauge or a bad warning light. Another possible cause is a failing oil pump. If the oil pump isn't working properly, it won't be able to circulate oil throughout the engine, resulting in low or no oil pressure. This is a serious issue that requires immediate attention. It's also possible that the oil passages inside the engine are clogged. This is more common in older engines where oil changes may not have been done regularly. Over time, sludge can build up and restrict the flow of oil through the engine, leading to low oil pressure and triggering the warning light. What should you check if you're dealing with this issue? The first thing to inspect is the oil pressure sensor or sending unit, whichever your vehicle uses. This is one of the most common causes of false oil pressure warnings. In fact, many people simply replace the sensor right away, since it's relatively inexpensive, often under $20. Locate the sensor on your engine and either test it or replace it. Don't forget to check the wiring going to it as well. A broken wire, poor connection, or short can cause the same symptoms as a bad sensor. Make sure everything is secure and in good condition before moving on to more serious possibilities. If everything checks out with the sensor and wiring, the next step is to use a mechanical oil pressure gauge to measure the actual oil pressure. To do this, remove the oil pressure sensor or sending unit and thread the gauge into its place. Then, start the engine and observe the reading. Each engine has a specific oil pressure range it should operate within, so check your vehicle's specifications. For example, if your engine is supposed to run at 50 psi, but the gauge shows only 35 psi, then you know there's a low oil pressure issue. That could be caused by dirty oil, a clogged filter, the wrong oil viscosity, a failing oil pump, or clogged internal oil passages. However, if the oil pressure reading is normal, that points to a faulty sensor, sending unit, or wiring issue. Either way, using a mechanical gauge is one of the most reliable ways to diagnose whether the problem is truly low oil pressure or just a sensor-related issue. That's basically it. If you have anything to add, please leave a comment below. If this video was helpful, please like, subscribe to the channel, and have a great day.